No, everything with me is always going somewhere. I'm very intentional with all my words and actions, and nothing is accidental in my life. I'm very organized and structured and stuff.
It must feel good to be you.
Hey, if you believe that, I've got some more stuff I'd love to sell you on.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Well, it was funny because like when you and I come in, we seldom start actually talking, and so that's why I was like, no, let's start rolling. Like that, whatever you're about to talk about sounds like something interesting.
I felt, no, that's cool. Like I just thought we were going. I thought we just said we were going to do something else, and so I was going to go do that, and then you're like, are we starting the podcast? I mean, I feel like I'm talking to Cammie at this point, so this is awesome.
Well, I mean, our Cammie and I's podcast.
Yeah, no, I hear she was telling me about the podcast this week. Mm-hmm. She was saying it would be so miserable.
It would be miserable?
She's not looking forward to what you guys do.
Yes, she is.
Oh, okay.
She said that she was going to tell you that because she was worried that you wouldn't enjoy.
I enjoy everything. I enjoy. Hey, welcome to. We're into this already. 1 minute in.
I'm trying to find. I'm just not ready for this, man. I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I'm now managing 2 marriages.
And an affair.
Good for me. Not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
I got that kind of energy. More creativity. I would. Yeah. If I were going to have one of those second wives, have we talked about this on the podcast?
Here we go. No.
If I were to have one of those second families, everybody would have to have the same name, because I couldn't manage it.
Okay.
And so I'd have to find someone out there whose name's Cammie, or I'd have to nickname her that is like I'd have to be like, why do you call me Cammie? Oh, I don't know. I think it's just fun.
What do you mean you couldn't manage it?
I couldn't manage if the other person I had a second family with was named Connie.
Know a lot of Connies?
Nope. I was trying to think of somebody's name who I don't know. I was like, I don't want to say anybody I know, and they'll be like, oh, that's interesting. That's the name you went to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a slippery slope. That's a real slippery slope. I'm going to be honest with you. I owe you an apology because we were talking business stuff, and then you started talking social, and so I didn't realize that you were still going with the business stuff. I thought that we were having that conversation after. I was not ready, it turns out.
That's
to go. So
that's
and when we're not ready,
we
call
our buddy Eddy. Help us out.
Still not ready, dude.
It's that. That's what happened to me a couple weeks ago. Where it was just like I don't want to do your thing.
I don't know what's happening here.
Well, we're gonna keep figuring it out. You are at a Sinner and Saint podcast. Yes, this has been in Patrick still not knowing how to do what we do. So nothing's changed. We've learned nothing in a year, and you keep showing up.
Because
so,
you know what happened, right?
A system update.
What? No. What time of day is it?
It's past the morning hours.
That's where we're at.
That's where we go wrong. That's where it goes wrong.
Dude, my phone literally just isn't even. Okay.
Are you on the right network? Hey, this is the technology podcast with Ben and Patrick, where we do all things.
Now I'm not convinced it's recording.
Oh, you're going to doubt me. I'm at 3 minutes and 43 seconds
with audio. Like you got the meter.
Why do you think I'm not? Oh,
is the meter going?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, gang, I guess we're here. I guess we're going. Well, that's bad audio. I realized that we were recording, and it's just all the way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening here.
Spotify's down.
Oh, okay. Well, this is Spotify's problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not giving me anything.
Okay. Yeah. So when you hear the tone, it will be exactly.
When you hear the tone, it will be exactly. Time to get a drink.
Oh my gosh, Eddy, we've never needed a drink so bad, my friend. And now been sweating, so we're just in it.
I might.
Really? Goes down.
It might be the day I quit. It might be the day I quit this. All right, today Brewmaster Eddy has shaken us up a Flip the Script.
What?
A Flip the Script is a cocktail that I think a lot of people know the Boilermaker we had a while back, where it's a beer and a shot.
Uh-huh.
This is kind of a cocktail with a beer and a shot in it.
Oh.
So this is Irish whiskey, maple syrup, angostura bitters, and a stout beer that is called. Our fat fingers can't even let it.
We can't even slaunch it correctly, man. That's all right. It's all right. We're gonna get through this. And
that's not bad at all.
No,
that's kind of delightful actually. Yeah. So as Patrick said, welcome into a Sinner and Saint podcast.
Say more.
We are Ben and Patrick.
Is this your guys' first episode?
It might be. We should do that.
Is this the last episode?
We should do the voice of public opinion.
Excuse me, this is your guys' first episode.
You guys seem like you've never done this before.
Are you sure this is episode 51, guys? Are you sure? Because it doesn't feel that way.
What'd you do for the other 50? Well, go back and check them out.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't know what we did for the other 50.
It's just further proof that every time we try to touch technology, technology touches back.
Yeah, yes, that's a good way to say it. But before we recorded, you were talking about you made a cocktail that we've made on the podcast. And I was like, wait a minute.
Accidentally.
Tell people about this.
Yeah, so we were going to make dinner the other night with some friends. We hadn't seen in a while, so we were going to catch up. So I was kind of looking forward to that. And I was going to smoke a poor man's brisket, which I'd never done. So that was all sorts of new things that I was
willing.
Yeah, it was poor man's brisket. You know, it was tough.
It went.
But it
was tough?
It was a little tough. It was really tough when I pulled it off the smoker, but then after I wrapped it, it softened a little bit. So had I probably had another hour or two to continue to let it do its thing, it probably would have been okay.
Oh, it was a time issue.
It was a time issue. 5 hours I pulled it off. I wrapped it at 4 hours.
Okay, yeah, man. Those poor man. Even though those little guys, those 4-pounders or something, those still take me 6-7 hours. Yeah. I always get that smoker going around 11 and throw it on at noon.
Yeah, I was still pressed on time, but
it was still busier life.
It was still good.
Yeah.
But when I was walking through the store, I was like, I'm gonna just stroll through the liquor aisle, as I do sometimes.
Sure.
And I saw a bottle of, I'm not sure I'm gonna get this name right, Cointreau. I saw that there, and you've probably mentioned it a million times, but I've never purchased that or had that in my bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of like an Italian orange liqueur. I was like, well, that could be fun. That seems like it would make a really good, like, old-fashioned type drink.
Oh, it absolutely would. Yeah.
So I bought it and then went home, and I got the little My Bar app that you punch in the things, and it tells you what you can make with what you got. So I punched in that, and it said I could make a sidecar, and I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
We've had sidecars on this podcast.
I like sidecars.
Yes, it's very similar to old fashioned.
It is.
I mean, it's not too far off.
Yeah. If you're ever feeling like if it's nice outside and you want to sit outside and have a cocktail, make a tequila sidecar. Exact same thing. You just use tequila instead of bourbon, and that's different in a real good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little brighter, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, much brighter. But it really is like I'm gonna sit outside and have this cocktail kind of a drink.
So even 50 episodes in, I'm still learning new things.
Still learning. What do you think about this one today?
I was afraid this was gonna, because I smelled it and the look of it, and I was like, "Oh, is this your gin demon attack on me?" Or like, I've done rum for you 3 or 4 times.
Nope, we have
buddy.
no gin today.
So I'm not a gin drinker, and you are not a rum drinker. For those that are newer to the podcast, but so he's had three rum drinks in the last few episodes.
I'm coming around on it because I want to be a professional drinker. And so if you're going to go pro, you got to learn how to hit the sport. So, I've been trying to find more rum cocktails that I enjoy. And I found one that I was going to bring today, but as I was laying in bed this morning, it was real foggy start to the day today.
You've had a busy week.
I have, and I brewed beer this morning, so I had a busy morning too before I got here, and I was like, I don't know if I ever know. And I'd really rather go ahead and update the show doc before I have to go downstairs and figure out how I And that was the whole thing too. I was like, I'm too lazy to actually go downstairs and then walk back upstairs. And here's the dumb thing: it's a laptop. I could have just taken the computer with me, but My brain was functioning on that level where I was like,
Weekend Ben was in operation, and Weekend Ben was like,
heck
to the nose.
But for episode 53, in 2 weeks from today, we will be having a rum drink. That I'd like to have.
My goal for gin is to not make a disgusted 5-year-old's face when I drink it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that makes me a professional drinker, but at least is gonna make me a little less of a mature drinker. How about that?
I like it.
Yeah.
This is not for consumption here, but my brother sent it to me this morning, and it's very funny. Go find the Ryan Reynolds pumpkin spice.
Oh boy.
So Ryan Reynolds is basically teaching you how to make a Negroni for National Negroni Week, and we've had a Negroni on here. And
there's a National Negroni Week.
Apparently, it was September 18th to 29th or something.
We gotta up our game a little bit if we're gonna have.
Yeah.
We're gonna have cocktails in our drink. We should probably make sure we're.
Sorry, dude. 18 to 29 is not 7 days. That's all.
That's okay.
Weekend Ben
sounds like something Weekend Ben says.
Yeah. But no, it's very funny. Lots of cussing, so don't watch it around the faint of cussing
or the upright Christians.
Hey, also speaking of upright Christians, shout out to your friend Jeff. Met him, re-met
upright
him this morning.
Yeah,
re-met him this morning. Good dude.
Hi Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff is a good guy. Solid.
Enjoyed chatting.
He's a solid ginger.
Yeah, he is. He is a very solid ginger. Oh, okay. Not a solid ginger. I gotta tell you one of the funniest stories of my week, though.
All right, bring it.
I played in a golf outing.
Is this Sinner Saint moment? Are we getting into
no? This is not. This because I was like, could that fit into? Because I actually made notes.
I have some notes for today too. So,
and I was like, could this be? This is not a Sinner or Saint moment.
Okay, this is just a story.
Just funny.
Story time with Ben. Grab your mat and lean on him. He'll be regaling us with prose. Look at that and look at those.
Couldn't be happier with it. So I played in a golf outing about a week ago, and the putting green was in the middle of like.
Is this the one you asked me to be a part of?
I did, yeah. And you couldn't make it.
I don't like golf, but I really wanted to be there that day.
We had a great time and finished third.
Shut up!
So,
I hope it's.
Yeah,
I hope it was just a lot of fun.
And it was the worst. I mean, the weather was awful.
Yeah, everything was bad that
all
day.
day and sunny, and it was gross.
Worst people, you know.
So I have a really unique tattoo on my left forearm.
Show the. Come see it on the video.
Yeah, if you can see it. So this is the mid 1970s Everton Football Club logo. That was their crest then. It's not their current crest today. There's a guy warming up on the putting green who has that exact tattoo.
Seriously?
On his right calf.
Dang, soul brother.
That's my tattoo, right? And so like my buddies I was with, I was like, that's
is that it, right?
That's it. That's the exact same. And his had just one more addition than mine. He has NSNO at the bottom, which is their Latin for nothing but the best.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh man, I gotta meet this guy. But then the announcements start, and it turns out he's starting on the back nine, and I'm starting on the front nine, and we're just probably not gonna run into each other all day. So at the dinner afterwards, I just turn around and he's standing right there. And I was like, oh, I was hoping I would run into you all day.
And he's like, this is weird.
No. He's like, I said, the tattoo on your calf is, and I was wearing a long sleeve pullover and I pulled it up and I was like, it's the same. And he's like, how long you been proper Everton? And I was like, oh no.
This is even better.
I'm not a real fan. And he's like, hi, I'm Gary. And I'm like, hey Gary, I'm Ben. Where are you from? Northern Ireland. And I'm like, oh, you're like a real.
You're like it. You're like, you've known this.
Like,
I was with this.
And I wish
you would have met him with your own accent. I wish you'd have been like,
oh man.
Oh,
I'm
from Edinburgh.
I was like, oh, there's an Everton buddy. We have something in common. And then I'm like, oh no, he's proper Everton.
He'll talk you under the table.
He's been an Everton fan since he was like 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is gonna be like I just shrank it up. He was super cool. Gary, I hope you're a listener. He was super cool because he was just like, then we just talked about Everton for like 5 minutes, and we talked about the woes of the club and all that, and it was just like such a fun connection. And I was like, but. I would expect lots of people in England have that tattoo. I did not expect to find that in Fishers, Indiana on a Monday morning.
Well, there you go.
Course. So just a little funny tidbit.
I love fate. I love coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and somebody, you know, being in ministry in the church, you know, I've had people that are like, I believe in God, so I don't believe in coincidences. And I'm like, I don't understand what that statement means, because coincidence simply means two random events coinciding.
Mm-hmm.
So I think God works in that space. But yes. So I find that interesting. We went
so wait, God found my tattoo bud?
Yeah, he brought you guys together.
Thank you, God.
You should be doing a podcast with Gary.
Or maybe.
And as a little surprise, I have a special guest that I brought in. Gary, come on in! That'd be...
Hey, we won yesterday! 3-1 win over the Bees!
I am watching lots of rugby right now. It is the Rugby World Cup, and I am finding there are not many people who are following that in my circle of influence or friendship or whatever. So I watch it alone, and that's okay.
You have turned me on to it though, because
good.
If I
we should get together and catch another match.
Yeah, feel free to come to my office with me. Because a lot of times that's what I'll do. I'll bring in my laptop and just pop it up on my laptop, and even and I'm doing other stuff, so it's just kind of on in the background. But when the voices get really up in there, I'm like, okay, I can side eye this.
It was 3 matches yesterday, and 2 really good ones, and one ending in a tie. It was Georgia versus, I believe, Portugal, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And Portugal has not beaten Georgia in 15 years. And they tied it up at full time, and Portugal had a penalty kick from 30 yards out, which is almost a gimme.
Okay.
Almost. And so again, first time in 15 years, there was lots of energy and anticipation, and the guy shanked it, and he was it was just devastation. It just was you might as well have just lost by a million points, because it was we were right, we had a chance to crest the mountain, and we did not. So, and it was great because Georgia was up at half, and Portugal climbed themselves back in and made it a match. It was fantastic.
Wow, so that sounds exciting.
It's been good fun. It's been entertaining.
And because I know the match that you came down and we watched and you were almost a little apologetic. Where you're like, there's normally a lot more scoring guys. This just turns out to be a great defensive matchup. And I was like, I'm still having fun, man.
Yeah.
That was what, Scotland and
was that Chile?
No, Scotland lost. But yeah.
Yeah. Good games.
It was fun.
Good games.
Fun,
yeah. England and Chile, I watched them yesterday, and England just kind of had their way. That was one that was just this train's coming off the tracks. But it was the first time Chile had ever had a team compete, I believe, in the Rugby World Cup. So it was kind of welcome to it. The U.S. didn't get a team in there, so you're better. Which is also kind of fun. It's fun to watch a global sports stage where the U.S. didn't even make it to the dance.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. You don't get your ticket punched.
But also, kudos to Peacock for running all that.
Yeah, because 4 years ago you couldn't find it. You had to pay a ridiculous amount to watch the matches.
Like Sky Sports or something like that.
Yes, so, it was ridiculous. So NBC's picking that up, and
cool.
So you catch them early in the morning, and it's been wonderful. I had nothing yesterday. It's kind of one of my notes that I have of this season of life right now is pretty fantastic. We've gotten our time back. We've got our evenings back. Our two older kids being off at college. It's wonderful. So what I called us are empty nexters. The X in there, nexters, because we got a 16-year-old who is driving, but is 16. So he goes to school and then he works, and as long as we have food and that's about it.
Electricity for games.
He doesn't want much else from us, and that's cool. We don't.
Yeah.
We have Wednesday nights with him. We do dinner. We have a little bit of conversation, and that's kind of it. But then I'm not saying we don't see it otherwise. Every once in a while, he'll come and hang out with us. But
let me ask you a parenting question.
Okay.
As a non-parent.
Okay.
Do you? So there are times where my wife's son will. My stepson, whatever you want to call him, will.
I'm gonna step off camera. Keep talking.
Okay. He will. He and I will start having dinner together, and she might be doing something else or something. So he and I will chit chat and talk. But then he almost has like this unspoken expectation that I'm going to communicate with her those things. So there's been times where I'll just be like, hey, so what nights do you have football late this week? And he'll be like, oh, Tuesday, Thursday. I'll be like, okay, cool. And then his mom will be like, hey, what nights are late football? I already told Ben. He'll be like, is that a thing?
It can be.
Okay.
Yeah, and certainly.
It might just be something.
No. I mean, family dynamics anyway. Any relational dynamics, all that's very interesting. And so, like, where you guys are, where you guys are doing a shared parenting, co-parenting kind of thing, like, in and out of space. Yeah, I'm sure there's all sorts of assumptions on what communication like.
Sure.
My wife and I, same way. Like, here's I'll peel back the curtains a little bit.
Is this a Cincy Saintsies?
No,
okay.
No.
We're just spitballing.
Because of what I do, who I am, whatever, and maybe because I'm just annoying, I have 4 emails for different hats that I wear within my career, which sounds weird. Career.
Are you making fun of your own life choices? Like,
it's hardly a career. It's hardly a career. I mean, it certainly puts a roof over our heads and food on the table, but this is not a career choice that anybody. You're not going to find this anywhere.
Okay.
It's very unique,
okay.
And part of it's just I don't know what it is. It's a coincidence. So anyway, I manage different responsibilities on different Google calendars.
Okay.
And a few years ago, we started creating a shared calendar. We created, like, Cammy was always like, I don't know where you're at. And I'm like, well, you can get on Google Calendar and we can share those and you'll know all the time where I'm at. Yeah. And so when the kids got into high school, we started doing that because we created calendars for themselves. I'd set up their Gmail accounts a long time ago just because I wanted to save their login names. Didn't want those getting picked up somewhere else. And so, like, we've done that for a while. Well, this recently, she's like, well, your stuff's not on the calendar. And I'm like, everything I do is on, like, there is nothing I don't do. I don't remember it if it is not on the calendar. So, no, everything is on the calendar at all times if I'm planning on doing it. If it's not on the calendar, it's because it's something that I'm like, I might do it. Right. But chances are I'm probably going to forget it because I'm not on the calendar. So it's going to not happen. So we had that, it wasn't quite an argument, but it was just that kind of thing of like different things are happening in different spaces. And we had that with, as the kids were working their way through high school or working their way through high school, college, and particularly as they're away in college, we have unique texts or conversations with them, and every once in a while, like, something will come out in a conversation somewhere else where we'll reveal something that we heard from one of the kids, and it's always like, oh, I didn't know that, which is always kind of interesting because there's always a sense of like, well, now I feel like a bad parent because I didn't know that. Yeah. But you also have to step back and be like, well, they didn't communicate. They communicated with you. Yeah, we're a team. And they interestingly, every night when we lay down, the data doesn't transfer across the pillows into create that Apple, and I'll become an Apple fan. You don't have those pillows yet? That would be amazing. The Megatech 6000? Oh, dude, we have the Megatech 6000, and it's wonderful. Megatech 6000. Yeah, because like as soon as you lay down, you just data dump everything in there. Hey, pro tip game, careful what you think about, and try not to have bad dreams. That'd be it. Can be like, I do not want what's in his head. Like, thank you, but no thank you. I don't want what's in my wife's head. So I'll dive into Cincy Saints. Okay, here we go. Buckle up, kids. I don't know. I thought about this today. I don't know if this was a sinner or saint moment. Ooh, so it just is what it is. Because it's not what I love it when the water's murky. So last night, Patrick and I are recording today on a Sunday. Normally we record on Saturday mornings. You gotta get in before noon, or the technology demons get us, as you saw today. Oh, dude! Yeah, man, it's a real thing. It does happen. Yep, it's one of even your watch is quit. Your watch is like, I'm done. My watch flips me off. My watch is currently in Dutch, and I don't know how to get it back out of it. So I heard you talking Scottish, so it's like, oh my gosh. Dutch. No, the other day I was like, I don't know. This is back to the Cincy Saintsy moment, or is this Rabbit Trail? Rabbit Trails? All right. I went on a I'm going to bring you back. Rabbit Trail, go. No. Rabbit Trail is my phone's in Dutch. I've got to go through Google Translate and figure out how to get it back into English. Because, spoiler, don't speak Dutch.
So last night, it's Saturday night.
It's just on the other side of 31.
No, that's Norway. Oh man, those episodes were funny. I laughed a lot when you're like, yeah, and Norway was like on the other side of 31. So come to Indy, Norway. Norwindanapolis. So we're sitting on the couch, and it's almost 10 o'clock, and we've just finished a movie, and I'm ready to go to bed. Like, it is well known. It is documented in my home. That's when Ben's going to go to bed.
Yep.
And my plan too was like, I'm going to go lay in bed and watch. That was there was a good football game on. Number 6 was playing number 9.
Okay.
And I was like, oh man, so I'm just going to fall asleep to this college football game.
6 versus 9.
Dang it, you got me. You got me with it.
I'm just saying, that sounds like a...
Ohio State played Notre Dame.
Yeah, that'd be a heck of a matchup. I'd love to be a part of that kind of game. I mean...
I don't know that I would fall asleep watching that game. That seems it might be a little more stimulating. So I'm on the couch, and my wife says, do you have a busy week coming up? And I'm like, I don't know. It's Saturday night. I don't know what my week looks like. And I was like, this is weekend Ben. This is almost a bad Saturday night weekend Ben. And I was like, I don't know. And then I've recently, over the past month or two, I've been intentionally trying to be a better husband. Not that I've been a bad husband, but like I think there are things I can do better.
There are times you coast, and there are times you're like, no, like I can do better. Like
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
it's exactly right. I've been kind of coasting, and I've realized I need to be putting more intentional work into being a better husband.
Sure.
And so that was the same woman, by the way.
Yeah, woo! Yeah, the angels are singing, woo! And he's gonna be a better husband.
So I reciprocate the question.
Yeah.
How about you? Busy week ahead?
She downloaded, huh? She said
it was like she was just a bull in the cage waiting for the gate to open, and I was like, what have I done? And I was like, I don't know.
I'm about to fall asleep, and I've got to now feign enough energy.
In like mental acuity,
she's going to follow up on all of this.
And I had stayed in a hotel the night before, so I already slept like garbage, and I was just like, I finally just got to a point where I was like, babe, I am so sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I can't do this right now. I don't know. I don't know what to do. But I can't sit here for another 20 minutes and listen. But I want to hear you. And I want to listen. So can we pick this up tomorrow? But I felt just like such a jerk to be like, I asked you a question. Now please stop answering the question I asked. And she has an incredibly stressful job that it's very demanding.
Yeah.
And so she's already thinking about this coming week and all the deadlines and all the problems and all the things that she has to tackle. And I'm just like, it's Saturday night and that movie all the way sucked. I want to go watch something that doesn't suck. And I want to lay in bed while I do it. And so she was very, very gracious about it. And she was like, no, I'm sorry. I should have recognized that. It's 10 o'clock. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I think I just needed to exhaust. That's a me problem. And I was like, no, it's not. It's not a problem.
No, yeah,
it's not not a you problem.
Yeah.
It's not an us thing.
Just
it's
timing.
just
timing.
I want to talk about this with you tomorrow.
Yes.
And so and I'll tuck into that today when I get home.
Yeah.
And I've had a busy day, with other things going on this morning and
brewing beer.
And brewing beer. Yeah. So brewing some Elvis juice this morning. And
is that the name of the beer, or is that another name for beer that I didn't know about?
No, we've talked about this before.
Man, you get me so liquored up on these shows. I don't know what we've talked about.
How much liquor did you drink?
I don't know. But even my wife said the other day, she's like, oof. She's like, that pot, I don't know what episode she was like. She's like, you guys were barely hanging on. She's like, it was like a giggle show for 45 minutes.
Oh, that's, hey. We're here to have fun too.
If you're offended by two 40-year-old men, guys in their 40s giggling for 45 minutes, then we're not the podcast for you. Because
if you don't like poop jokes and insinuations, we might not be your jam. So I'll tuck back into that today. But it was one of those where, like I said, I've been I've been intentionally scheduling dates with my wife recently. So like we've been going to fall here in Indianapolis. You get a lot of art festivals and things like that. So we actually dove down to one yesterday that was free. And there's this. If you don't know about this, it's a cool little area of Indianapolis called Rocky Ripple. Are you familiar with Rocky Ripple?
No, but I assume it's near Broad.
It's actually right by Butler.
Okay.
But the weird thing is, it is an island that is cut by the White River and the canal.
Okay. Yeah.
And so there's only one way in and one way out.
Huh.
And so it's one bridge right by Butler's football stadium.
Yeah.
52nd Street takes you across the canal into Rocky Ripple. So it's funny because there was an art festival there, and it's like a little art community.
Yeah, it's the Pinrod, right?
No. Pinrod was a couple
different?
weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Pinrod was held down at Newfields, and we went down there.
Okay.
And oh gosh, man, we were there probably 5 hours, and I don't know that we got through half of Pinrod.
It's a lot.
It was enormous, absolutely enormous.
Well, this was different.
Yeah, this was different. This was the Rocky Ripple Art Fair, and because that little community is a lot of artists, they just have their own art fair, and it was fun. Like there was a guy. Like at one point, my wife goes, "What are those humans over there doing?" Because we saw, like, we couldn't see the person on the ground. We could just see like a woman in air, like doing some sort of like stiff acrobatics while someone was just holding her. And I'm like, baby, I don't know what those humans are doing,
but I want to go see.
But welcome to Rocky Ripple. Like, yeah, it was weird, and like,
is it like the Burning Man of Indianapolis without floods and?
It might be, yeah, without the quicksand. Yeah. So just trying to put more time into being a better partner.
Yeah. So. Part of that's just intentionality and just awareness, right? Like I want to be intentional. I'm not going to just disengage and coast and kind of get through. Is there anything else that you see that like? Because I think we all cycle through some of that. Some of it's just the demand of work. Sometimes we just get complacent in our relationships. Like we're just like, it's good enough. It's what is, whatever.
Yeah, I think so. And part of that is she and I are just very, very different people. So I want to be better about maybe meeting her where she's at than asking her to meet me where I'm at.
Yeah. Because
I am so much more free flow. Like we had a conversation not too long ago where I said, I feel like about 80% of what we talk about is work related. And I know a lot of that is we need to decompress from the day, from our jobs. And we've both had a lot of work stress recently. And I'm like, I think that's a good thing, but I want to maybe maximize that 20% a little more. And maybe I'm cool if it's 60-40, but like, let's just make more time for us and the things that we want to do and talk about. And she's recognized that. So like yesterday we got home from the art fair and I was like, what's your plan? Because it was like 4:30. So we have this kind of weird little window where we're normally not hanging out, but I was like, she's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I kind of feel like just listening to like, there's this Spotify playlist we like called Kitchen Swagger, which is just like good old school beats and stuff like that. And so I was like, I think I'm gonna have a cigar and sit out on the deck and listen to Kitchen Swagger. And she's like, I'm gonna join you. I was like, okay. So smoked her first cigar and threw up. I'm just kidding. But like she sat out there and like we just like talked about what do you want to do for dinner and like just kind of normal stuff, but then just like talked.
Yeah.
And so it's good. Like I think we're just trying to be better. And like I remember my brother at his 1 year anniversary, I was like, what are you guys doing for your anniversary? He's like, we're actually going to a marriage like seminar. And I was like, Trouble in Paradise? And he's like, nope, we're just staying ahead of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's super smart.
Yeah.
And so I think we're at that point where we're not having problems.
Right.
We're just trying to make sure that we're not going to have problems.
Yeah, most people wait until the problems start and they're like, okay, something's wrong, let's fix this. And it's much easier to actually have the conversation outside of it and say, okay, like let me put some tools in our toolkit so that we can actually have the marriage we want. Nobody wants a miserable marriage or partnership. And reality is
divorce attorneys want that.
They do. But reality is like relationships most of them are just not naturally simpatico. Because we come in. I'll jump in here. we carry assumptions and expectations into our marriage, right? Like so I always the club of threats that was growing up for me was like stay away from pornography for all sorts of reasons, but one of the reasons was like it'll create false expectations of your wife that she'll never be able to live up to because she won't look like that, whatever.
Sure.
Which is fine and fair, and that's not wrong.
Right.
But recently, I thought of that narrative of like remove that from pornography and lust that's there, but just whatever of like what are the expectations you have of your spouse, where you're expecting them to be something that they're not, and where you assume or want them to fulfill something in you, and you're not just letting them be who they are.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, shut up, Patrick, in my head, because that's just stupid.
Get out of here! You're the worst.
So yeah, my wife has let me know that I talk about how she's such a horrible person on this podcast, and her husband is the worst. So so
I'm meant for each other.
That's right. But she's perfect. Like if
hear
I
hear that, Cammy.
Yeah.
Hear that.
I need you to hear that. Oh, God, I hope she doesn't skip over this episode.
This was the 10 seconds she was like
she's
looking at something else.
Oh my God! Hey, did you go back and listen to that? I think that's probably one of our best. I mean, Ben was really on fire, and I think I had some things to contribute that were worth hearing. No, but it is that reality of like she is like we've had these great conversations. We've always had a very open, transparent conversation relationship with ourselves. And we've always been like we both have had seasons in our life where we felt some level of attraction to someone outside of our marriage.
Oh, okay.
And we were quick to both bring that to each other's attention and just be like, hey, just so you know this.
Yeah.
Like, I've never felt this way before. I feel this.
Oh, boy.
I want you to know.
Okay.
And to not like, for some people that seems like a threat or a betrayal. And if that's the environment of your relationship, then you hide that, right? You don't share that, and you kind of try to suppress it because you're like, that's not good.
Sure.
I got to bury that.
Sure.
And usually when you do that stuff, it just becomes kind of this bigger thing.
Yeah.
And then it just eventually bubbles to the surface, right? And so we've always been like, no, it's better to be honest with that.
Yeah.
And if I've got something that I am carrying, temptation, whatever, I'm not trying to hurt you. I understand that it may hurt you, but I'd rather share that so that you can carry that with me, because she's my confidant. She is my trusted, right? And so she is like it's just Cammy is so great because she is even keel. She is not. She does not ride the emotional roller coaster.
She is the best.
She
is the absolute best.
Is. Keep going. She is able to balance a lot. I mean, even in college, I would be like, how do you manage everything? Do you sleep? Like, are you a robot? Like she is
part robot.
She is part robot.
So,
that is true. Which is why I have to plug in, download, and everything. All that.
Oh, it's cool. I mean, dude, again, Megapillow 6000. Whatever I call it. Yeah.
But I thought about it the other day of like, how much do I expect of Cammy that's really just unfair? Like, it's this false sense of expectation that I'm looking for her to fulfill or meet me in some way. That one, she's not a mind reader. She certainly is not some like emotional like whatever of like, ooh, I feel this, I sense this, and so let me say like, I was like, that's I gotta do better, be better kind of a thing.
I might steal that.
Yeah, well.
Have that conversation with Cammy too.
Yeah, please.
So we'll see.
We'll
see what we
I'll
can
get
do.
you a list off the podcast and maybe a few other things to work into that.
Oh no, I'm
conversation.
the quality guy. I'm the notes. I've been listening.
No, so that's kind of been where we are. And again, like we're in this kind of new stage, empty nexting, of figuring out. We've always been very good of being tuned into one another. Like some people are like, oh, like you even said, like I'm intentionally dating my, taking Darlene's on dates.
Absolutely.
we've never done that just because that always, when we tried doing that and it just felt weird.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe it's just because we do things together. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think the dynamics of that are probably different for us.
Yeah. I'm not. I hope you don't hear me being critical or judging.
No, not at all. No.
But like when we tried doing that, when I tried being like, hey, let's go do this, it was always like, what is this? What are you doing? Like,
it's a trap.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what's happening here?
That's
and then she'd be on edge the whole time of like, do you have something to tell me? Like, do you have a secret family somewhere else? Right? It was like,
I do in Norway.
I do, yeah, Norway.
Yeah.
Just on episode 31.
Yeah. There's a dead guy over there too.
So it's been this fun season for us of just kind of going back to like when we were newlyweds of like, this is our relationship and like it's still there. It wasn't lost during our time of raising our kids, but now we actually have the time and capacity to kind of give that back to each other. Yeah. And so it's been fun, but it's also a bit like she got in her head the other day where do you ever tease Darlene? Like there's this thing where we just go through like these days where we're like just tease each other, like
never,
like I'm almost gonna touch you, like almost like you do with a sibling kind of a thing.
Never.
And so she got into that. No,
never.
Honestly,
never.
Okay. Well, we do this, and often it's me who's doing the teasing.
Sounds wonderful.
And so she was doing it the other day to me of like, hey, what's going on? Kind of flirty, like, and you're not in the mood or whatever. You're like, can you stop? Like I'm watching the rugby game, or I'm trying to focus on this or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, is this bothering you? Like, you just kind of it's completely playful, but it's like at the same time. And then at some point you're kind of like, no, I'm just gonna keep pretending to be annoyed even though I'm not, which I'm not very good at that because I usually start giggling because I giggle a lot because I'm just, everybody needs a big guy that giggles. So she was doing that a lot the other day, and then like last week, this is weird. I don't know what these are. I don't know why I'm saying all this, but family relationship.
Because I plied you with alcohol.
So we have an Alexa in our bedroom so that the government can hear everything we're doing. Steamy. We have one in the shower too, so just
literally steamy.
Yeah. But the last couple of nights, it's always Alexa in our bedroom is connected to our lights.
Okay. Yeah.
So Alexa turns the lights off, and it's wonderful. It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
But this week I rolled over, I don't know, it was a week ago or whatever. And as I was going to bed, this was weird, it was random, Sean Kingston, Beautiful Girls popped in my head. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Alexa, play Sean Kingston's Beautiful Girls. And she did. And Kim was like, what was that? I was like, I don't know. And so like the next night I was like, Alexa, play Mambo No. 5. And
oh my gosh.
Because she's good and compliant, she did. Mm-hmm. And Kim was like, "What? This is horrible. What is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. It's just happening. We're just gonna keep leaning into it." Yes. And it's so like that's been my evening thing. And then Kim usually interrupts it and stops it if it's so bad. Yeah. But the other night I did one, and I was like, "It's that one over there."
Oh, because you keep saying Alexa.
Shh! Don't say it. You're gonna activate it.
Shut up. Yeah, you're all welcome for the Alexa.
Yeah, they can't hear it.
But also, if you're listening at home, hey Alexa, play Mambo No. 5.
So yeah, those have been fun, like teasing annoyances, kind of a thing that we've been doing. It's kind of been this like, it annoys her to no end. Like that's my center moment for this episode. It's like that of like.
Where are we at on time?
We got 2 minutes to 45, so we might go a little long, but
so
that's ours. My same moment has been, it's kind of been nice to spend the time with her. We've enjoyed
that's good.
those moments, and rekindling that has been just being aware, being intentional, being aware, letting it be what it is, recognizing that when we get together in the evenings, we may be on different trajectories based on how our day has unfolded.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and like I've enjoyed like spending that time with her and at things like festivals and stuff like that, because it's fun to kind of walk around and talk about things that we think are interesting, but also, kind of make fun of people where we're just like we could do that, right? Like Those are crayons, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Who are you trying to fool there?
Yeah.
45 dot. Get out of here.
So I'll give you your center moment and your intentionality. Do you have a saint center moment? Sorry, I'll give you your saint moment. Do you have a center moment?
I have kind of a funny center saint moment that I had written down. I'll make it brief. It's Halloween season, of course, and we decorate our house and our yard, and we have a.
Is it decorated? Did you get it decorated? Is it ready?
I'm going to finish up today. I've got a couple more things. I've got most of it up. But I've got to put up the spiders on the front of the house and climb up the rock wall.
The rock wall.
And then I'm going to put Michael Myers together. And we have a probably 6'8" Michael Myers that stands in our front yard.
6'8"?
Yeah.
He's bigger than larger than life. Eh?
He's a big dude.
Is he in the movie?
In the movie, he's probably like 6'4", maybe.
Really? Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, but I think he's a tall guy.
I've never seen a full movie.
Oh man, I've seen all of them. They're fantastic. Yeah, slasher movies are the best. So there's this elderly gentleman who walks around my neighborhood with a walker every afternoon. And last year, he stopped me and just said, "Hey, dang near messed myself because I looked up and there's a big dude standing right there." And because the sidewalks in my neighborhood aren't the best, so with his walker, he's always looking down at the sidewalk so he doesn't fall. And so that was kind of my center moment. Was I inadvertently almost scared the literal poop out of an elderly man. The saint moment is I saw him this week as I was coming home from work. And he was across the street, and I went over there and I said, "Hey, Mr. So-and-so, I just want to remind you, we put that in the yard, and I'm going to be putting it up this weekend." And he like throws his head back and cackles, and he's like, "Oh, I wanted to run." And he looks at his walker and he goes, "But I'm not capable.
I'm not doing that."
And so my saint moment was to just be like, "I don't want you, we're going to put this up again. I don't want it to create any sort of an incident for you.
I don't want you dying on my front lawn.
Keep an eye out for the big imaginary non-life person in my yard."
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, who'd we offend?
Probably Cammy, but I don't know why.
Man, I tried really good. Tried hard not to. I tried to be like, okay. Dang it, Cammy, you'll have to let me know if you had
We offended, so it was funny. I'm going to go back very briefly when you were talking about, of all things, pornography.
Yeah.
Because we were taught in my church growing up that Ted Bundy watched porn and that led to killing women.
Whoa!
And so if you watch porn, you're going to kill women.
Wow.
And I was just like,
oof.
Okay.
I don't want that to happen.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who's Ted Bundy? Like, what'd he do?
He was on that TV show, Married with Children.
So it's funny when you said exactly. So when you said that, I was offended for the people that worked in the church in the '80s.
Well,
so
coincidence. I'm sorry for people that
we probably
can't believe in coincidences.
We probably offended pornography actors and actresses because it turns out our wives can be just as hot as them.
That's right. You ain't got nothing on them.
So, yeah.
Interesting there. What'd you learn?
I'll
go. I learned. I appreciate your introspection. I appreciate the go biblical. Iron sharpens iron. Like that. You want
biblical?
It is. Yeah, sorry.
How about that?
Yeah. Shakespeare didn't write that one.
I didn't think Shakespeare wrote it.
Yeah, that jerk.
Wrestling.
Carl Sagan?
No, I thought The Rock did.
Game of Thrones?
No, wrestling. I thought that was wrestling.
No, iron sharpens iron. It's a proverb.
Okay.
So one man sharpens another is the wrestling phrase.
Is that what we're doing here?
Oh, bear. We're sharpening our swords together.
Following it up with "oh baby" doesn't make it better. It makes it creepier.
Let's go back to who we offended. So
no, what did we learn today? Yeah, I think when we take those moments to actually be vulnerable with our audience and talk about that we're trying to, even in our mid-40s, be better men and better partners and just better people in general.
Yeah.
Now that's not to say I apologize to the crowd I walked into today because there were people in our studio for a different
how dare they?
purpose.
How dare they?
And I'm just me. So I walked in.
I don't know what the opposite of an Irish goodbye is, but
it's a Bulgarian hello. I Bulgarian hello the hell out of this place. Yeah, I walked in and people were just looking at me and I was just like, "Hey."
I own this place.
And then I just like walked
I'm going where I go.
Yeah,
I'm doing what I do.
And they were all just like, "That human doesn't belong here, but he looks dangerous." And I'm like, "Yeah,
dangerous."
And then I spit on the floor.
Yeah, that's solid. I love all this.
I offended those people.
Yeah,
today,
those
like in
people.
real life.
Sorry, those people.
Yeah, those people.
Yeah, no, I think I appreciate the conversation today, and
good stuff.
I think my wife's just the best.
I learned today that I had a tattoo with some dude from Northern
Yeah.
Ireland, matching tattoo at a golf outing. Well, you learned that, I guess. I told you about that.
All right,
you
here's
want to get us out of here.
I'm sending you out. You want to make sure you're ready to send us out on the back
Oh,
end?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Or try to.
Freaking weekend bin, dude.
That guy.
Darius Tony will play today.
Here's how I'm going to send you out. Man, keep grinding. Look at yourself in the mirror, both physically but also figuratively. Look at those ways where maybe you're just coasting in your relationships, particularly those relationships that are most meaningful for you, and give yourself a good, serious look. And then reach out and do those things, make those changes, own your stuff, and then do better, be better. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. The music's playing now. So wait, I'd like to thank my agent.
Wait,
and I'd like to thank my second wife's fourth mother.
Second wife. Yes. Where is she? She matters.
Oh, I gotta tell you a funny story.
Oh, okay.
Here's our outro real quick. I'll
Yes.
do this. So no, actually I'm not.
Oh, well, sorry.
If you thought you were
Come
going to
in
get
next
something good
season.
here, come back next
Let's
Sunday,
come back.
and I will lead with it. I promise.
But keep
That
coming
will be
back.
the first thing I say.
Check out those polls. Check out those questions and A's, Q&A's.
Questions and A's.
We're trying to be intentional with getting those
Questions
out there.
in space.
We're glad to see that the listenership has boosted back up.
Appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for
We
that.
want to grow, and
And we have a really cool T-shirt idea coming.
We do,
And so
yeah.
we're going to start doing like a monthly subscription T-shirt service that
gonna be
you
awesome.
can buy for U.S. American dollars to help support your favorite podcast.
or wherever currency you have, we'll figure it out.
Oh, and if you speak Dutch, I need some help with my watch. Get back in here. Shoot us an email in English, please.
See you next week on the Center of St. Podcast.